2nd, 2020. Call roll, please.
Commissioner Denise McGriff.
Present.
Commissioner Rocky Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Rachel Lyles Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Frank O'Donnell is absent this evening. Mayor Dan Holliday.
Here. And next we have presentations, is that right?
That's correct. And we have the Downtown Oregon City Association, their biannual update, sorry. And Liz is here, so she'll come forward.
Come on up, Ms. Hannum.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Liz Hannum from the Downtown Oregon City Association. I have a quick presentation just to update you on what we've been doing over the past year with the city funding that we get. If you could, I can go forward. Before I really start, I wanted to say a huge thank you to city staff over the last couple of months. They've been really instrumental in getting a lot of these projects off the ground and executed. Especially Public Works has gone way above and beyond with our kiosk program installation, and the Parklets Community Development has really pushed for great work to support our businesses downtown. And then economic development has been instrumental in helping our businesses get through the last couple of months. So I really wanted to say thank you to the city staff publicly before I start. So our MOU has a couple of different, with the city has a couple of different requirements. And so I just kind of went through each one of them to show you what we've been doing. So one of the things is the street tree light program. So it is, we have about 50 trees that are lit in downtown. And so we've been working kind of section by section to replace or maintain the ones that are existing. And so that's something that we do with that money. It's a huge support for our businesses, especially in the coming months over, when it gets dark in the evening. That will be a huge support for the retail and restaurant businesses, just to keep them lit well in the evening. We are currently working with the Oregon Main Street Revitalization Grant. Unfortunately, the 2021 project has been canceled due to COVID-19, so we won't be getting one next year. But the one from last year is finally getting up and running. So we will be working with Coin Corner at the corner of 7th and Railroad to redo their facade and make it more historically accurate, and it'll look beautiful, and we've got some transom windows that are going to go in there that were original. So it's really exciting. They're starting work on that very soon here. And then our representation for city-led initiatives. We've been working really well with the Tourism and Economic Development Department. We also have a representative. I've got two of my board members here who are representing on the OC 2040 program. And with the Transportation Demand Management, we've been supporting that through the shared parking program, which is finally up and running. It's pretty exciting. We have 96 new parking spaces through that program, which will be free parking for people on nights and weekends, which is really exciting. And then promoting tourism. Obviously, events will be hard to work with in the future, but we have put on a ton of events over the last year and a half, and a lot of that comes from city funding. So we are trying to work with the businesses to kind of target to get people through the door of the businesses so that that return on investment is there for the city. And cross-promoting Travel Oregon City for tourism events. We do need to do more work on this, and I think we're working out what it actually is tourism going forward. So we're figuring out what kinds of posts and things that we can cross-promote better, and then providing letters of support. Everyone that's asked, I've definitely, anything that supports downtown development has been really great for us. And I think a lot of the support that we've done, the city has actually gotten the grants for, which is pretty exciting. So going forward for this next group of years, or next year, will be a little bit different looking at COVID. Events are mostly canceled for the next at least 6 months or so. So we're trying to figure out ways of getting people, the community, engaged in downtown in ways that are not event specific, or they can be spread out through a week, or, you know, so we're looking at how to best support our businesses and bring in community engagement throughout the community while COVID is still an issue. We've also got some individual support that's going to happen for our businesses. I've been working with individual businesses to make sure that they're sustaining over the course of the next 6-7 months. I think we have a lot of businesses that were okay for the first 5 or 6 months and are now kind of starting to be a little worried about what the next 6 months bring. So I'm going to try and support them that way. And then we've got a group that's going to be starting with community engagement, both at the business level and at the community level, and working on business recruitment as well. So we do have a couple of vacant spaces, stuff that happened before COVID, and then during COVID as well. And so we're really looking forward to building a good mix of businesses in the downtown. So that's it for this right now. Do you have any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Do you have any other private lots lined up for the parking program, or any interest?
We don't yet, but we do have a little bit of interest with one more, I think, that we're just working on details and trying to figure out what they need in order to be a part of the program.
And then my second question, this may be for Mr. Conkle. Do we need to modify the agreement with DOCA based on the fact that they can't meet the deliverables that are in the current agreement that we have due to COVID? I mean, we list out a requirement of 5 events. I mean, we can have a verbal agreement here in the commission chambers that says we're not holding them to that piece of the agreement, but technically it's a contract, and I know we specifically asked for deliverables to be listed in this contract, so to hold them to something that we can't do, has that conversation happened, or?
We did not.
Okay.
We have not had a conversation about trying to amend the contract. I think it was just with the uncertainty and, you know, would online events count? You know, I mean, are there other things that they're doing to try to draw visitors or users downtown that, you know, we could call an event in this new kind of paradigm we're living in?
I think it's pretty clear that we're not going to try to enforce that agreement as far as events are concerned. It's certainly not our fault or DOCA's fault.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I just want all of us to be in agreement on that, because this was a pinch point.
Yeah.
You know, when we signed this agreement, and we were kind of trying to hold to the letter of the law, you know, to the agreement and all that.
Certainly, yep.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Phantom.
Mr. Mayor, I do have
And what's the next?
a comment, if I may, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I've been serving on the board as the city's representative for about a year, and I have been enjoying my service with the Downtown Association Board. There's a core group of very hardworking business folks, and that's been very encouraging. I think as they and we move forward with the situation we find ourselves in with COVID-19, as she stated in the report, we can't really plan out more than 3 to 4 weeks in advance, because we just don't know. Things are changing still. But I do want you to know that they have been working very hard, and I look forward to working up with them for the rest of the year.
Okay, thank you. Katie, what's next?
Yes, next is citizen comments, and I do have several folks that have signed up and they're physically here. So let me just grab the list here. And we'll begin with Heidi Blackwell. If you could please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name and city of residency for the record. And you have up to 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Heidi Blackwell. I live in the Tower Vista neighborhood. I not only live in Oregon City, but my husband and I work here. Our sons attend schools. We're very active in the community. And I really do feel it's a good place to live and to raise my family. I'm here tonight to talk about during the last city commission meeting, the county commissioners were having a listening session about race. And I'll be honest, what I heard during that listening session really worried me about Oregon City. It was not portrayed as an environment where people of color felt comfortable. And unfortunately, the mayor specifically was called out for promoting that culture. The individuals that testified talked about being run off the road, refused apartments, made to feel unsafe when they were driving to work and saw people flying flags of known hate groups on our streets very openly. I'm a white, straight, middle-class soccer mom. I've never experienced that level of racism, but I came here to say that I believe those stories that the people were telling that evening when I was listening, and other stories that I've heard, and I just want to make sure that you as the city officials were aware of these concerns and these issues. Resolution 2019 that was passed was a great step, to recognize and to show that the Black, Indigenous, and people of color are valued members of our community. And so what are the actions then? What are the plans next, that the resolution now was passed? Gladstone had a listening session to hear other people's stories, and Oregon City could do the same thing. Lake Oswego is in the process of forming a diversity, equity, inclusion committee, and I don't see any reason why Oregon City couldn't do something similar. The Park District city libraries could sponsor some multicultural events to acknowledge the people of the past and present who have helped Oregon City become a really good place to live. And having those events just provide our children with opportunities to interact with some of those different backgrounds and get a more honest history of our area here. At the end of the listening session, the county commissioners also offered some really good ideas, actively recruiting diverse candidates, creating communities where these candidates would want to live, and reviewing current policies using that equity lens. And I would suggest if you haven't had a chance to listen to that session, please do take that time to listen and hear those stories and those suggestions. Overall, making Oregon City a safe and welcoming place for people of all backgrounds to live, work, and play can and should be something that we work on together as a community. Improving our culture prepares us for our changing demographics for now and for later. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next is Heidi Chang.
Hello, my name is Heidi Chang, and I am a resident of the Caulfield neighborhood. Thank you for taking the time to hear from residents. A little background on myself: I am an Army combat vet, and I'm currently working on my master's in ministry and leadership. This background information is vital to understanding my worldview and what I expect of leadership. Not only am I a decorated combat vet, I am also the mother of 2 tenacious daughters who I am raising to be strong women who will use their voices to speak out against misogyny and discrimination. It was my husband's job that brought us to Oregon City. However, our love of this area enticed us to set down roots in this community. It wasn't long after this decision, I started questioning whether or not Oregon City really was the best area for us after discovering more about the mayor, Dan Holliday. There is much about his quote-unquote leadership that has brought me to question our decision. His inability to take responsibility for careless and thoughtless words and actions, as well as his negligence to bring our community together during this difficult year, but rather further to divide us, are but some of the issues. Tonight, however, I would like to address his degradation of women. The interactions and supporting sources of the statement I am making tonight are in the document I handed to the city recorder. Many residents of Oregon City do not know that Mayor Holliday has been the subject of not just 1, but 2 restraining orders for domestic abuse. Clackamas County Circuit Judge Douglas Van Dyke concluded that Holliday had intentionally hit his wife at the time. His aggression and abusive behavior towards women in our community has continued throughout his term in office. Here are a few examples. When a registered sex offender was allowed to open a halfway home in Oregon City, residents voiced their strong concerns to Mayor Holliday in a social media conversation about this opposition. A resident shared that she had been a victim of sexual abuse herself. He dismissed her lived experience and belittled her with his response to her comment with a hashtag #NotMeToo. Even though he deleted the comment within minutes, he failed to acknowledge that this behavior contributes to rape culture and makes survivors of rape and sexual assault even more reluctant to use our voices. When other female resident called him out, she said, "You find sexual assault and degrading women funny?" Mayor Holliday responded by saying, "I'm sorry, you have no sense of humor. As a survivor of rape and sexual abuse myself, this dismissal and lack of accountability is unacceptable from leadership." When someone asked for recommendations of home cleaning services in a local group, Mayor Holliday responded, "Get married," thus feeding into the toxic gender stereotypes that hinder growth in our community. In another social media exchange with a female resident, Mayor Holliday said, "Thank you for taking your meds," in an attempt to sarcastically say she was crazy. Women throughout history have been dismissed and cast aside as crazy as to invalidate our concerns. Holliday missed an opportunity to engage a concerned citizen of our city. Even if the conversation had not been productive, it is the duty of a leader to set the example of how to treat your fellow humankind. When running for re-election, Mayor Holliday refused to sign a set of debate ground rules.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next is Dara Kramer.
Hello, my name is Dara Kramer, and I live in the Caulfield neighborhood. Thank you all for taking the time to hear citizens' comments. As the volunteer coordinator for the campaign to recall Dan Holliday, I am here to share an update with you. This summer, I've had the chance to talk with 167 different volunteers who range in age from 16 to 92 and vary in political affiliation from conservative Republicans to progressive Democrats. Their reasons for volunteering their time range from his treatment of women and citizens and fellow commissioners, to his stance on racial injustice, to his actions that have led to lawsuits and investigations spending our tax dollars. Similar to citizen involvement, endorsements from elected officials range from former Tea Party Republican County Commissioner John Ludlow to our most progressive members of our Oregon City School Board. We are all keenly aware of how polarized our country is right now. So we know it takes seriously egregious offenses to bring everyone together behind a common cause. It's always the right time to do what is right, no matter what is printed on our voter registration. We're also very grateful to the members of OCPD and the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office who have expressed their support of the petition. Our past 3 mayors of Oregon City, including one in his 90s, are out collecting signatures to put this recall on the ballot. All 4 of Mayor Holliday's fellow commissioners have voted to censure him, vote no confidence in him, and order multiple ethics investigations into his actions. All 4 of them have signed our petition as well. Our campaign has collected over 2,000 signatures from registered voters within the city limits, and a circulation petition was mailed to 11,000 households in Oregon City on Monday and arrived at many of them today. This mailer was funded by donations from residents of Oregon City who are ready for a mayor who is honest and willing to work with fellow commissioners and residents. If you receive a petition in the mail, you can collect anywhere from 1 to 10 signatures and return it by mail. We will also continue to collect signatures outside of the OC Farmers Market each Saturday, and you can check our Facebook and Instagram for other opportunities to sign. We're volunteering our time and energy to this because we care deeply about our community, And we know we have 4 dedicated commissioners who would love to be doing the work of the city instead of devoting their time to addressing the mayor's actions and behavior. Together, our signatures can give Oregon City the opportunity to move forward with ethical and accountable leadership. Please join us on Facebook at OC Recall Dan Holiday and online at recalldanholiday.com. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next up is Sarah Head.
Hello, my name is Sarah Head, and I'm a resident of the Park Place neighborhood. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. As you know, Oregon City was recently identified as a place that feels especially uninviting to people of color. While this may have come as a surprise to some white residents, I would hazard to guess that it is no surprise to Black residents and other people of color who live or have lived here. And that was before last Saturday. Last weekend, Patriot Prayer, Proud Boys, and other groups gathered at the Clackamas Town Center under the pretense of support for our current president. They came armed with clubs, bear mace, and guns. And while these types of situations may feel inevitable these days, that expectation does nothing to diminish the fear and trauma that it triggers in BIPOC communities. Whether or not you agree with the protests happening in Portland is not the issue. The issue is what we want our community to represent, and I would like to believe we don't want it to represent racism and bigotry. On that same Saturday, I had a friend coming to visit who is both Black and grew up in Oregon City. She comes and visits often, despite racialized traumas she experienced here as an adolescent. She always comes straight to our house because of the discomfort and fear she feels in the rest of the city. On that day, I met her at the road because I knew the shadow of the rally would be weighing heavy and she would feel especially on edge. This is not how most white residents view our community, and they may act surprised or skeptical when they hear it, but we need to hear it. Many, many Black people do not feel safe here. So what to do? Silence is not an option. At this point in our political and social climate, silence is collusion. Silence is support. Hate breeds in the spaces where it is not explicitly made unwelcome and unacceptable. As our young people begin their school year in front of computers, in front of the internet, there are people waiting for them, and they are waiting here in Oregon City with messages of membership, identity, pride, and white male supremacy. It is naive and irresponsible to think otherwise. Or maybe it is just a signal of support to those who would keep our city as it is. I implore you to reach out to experts and find resources that can help us get ahead of this and heal what has come before. It will cost money and it will cost political capital. But the cost of what is coming if we choose not to take action will be much, much higher. And maybe you don't know what to do, what the right move is. We are in unprecedented times. So reach out, find experts who know what works. The Western State Center is just one local organization that has the experience and expertise to address white supremacy and bigotry in our community. In June, I spoke before you and made recommendations of actions the city should take to fully honor and represent the diversity of our citizenship. I will end with the same words I said then. We will not create change by saying we want it. It will only be created through transparency, action, and investment. You have the opportunity to transform the narrative of our city and ourselves. Do not fail us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Anybody else, Katie?
No, that's it.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a statement as Dan Holiday, not as the mayor, in public comment, and that is that while these petitions have been mailed out, if folks do not support the recall, feel free to respectfully write something on that petition and share your feelings why you don't support the recall and send it back. Thank you. What's next?
If we move through the agenda, there is the adoption of the agenda, there's public hearing, general business, and then we move to consent agenda.
So I think we only have one item under general business, is that right?
We have no items under general business. It's just the consent agenda.
I move to adopt the consent agenda.
Commissioner Denise McGriff moved to adopt the consent agenda.
I would like to pull an item to discuss.
Which one?
8E. 8E.
Okay, let's do the rest of the consent agenda, and then we'll discuss item 8E.
Did they say B or E?
Is there a second?
E as in A.
The minutes?
I'll second.
So,
I thought he said C.
just, sorry, Commissioner Smith, we had a hard time. 8, which one? 8?
8E.
E as in elephant?
Yes.
The minutes? Okay.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Okay.
And you accept that?
Call the roll on the
Yes.
consent agenda.
Let's see, sorry about that. So Commissioner Rocky Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Denise McGriff,
Aye.
Commissioner Rachel Lyles Smith,
Aye.
Mayor Dan Holliday.
Aye. What's your issue, Commissioner Smith?
So the minutes of the June 3rd meeting, I just want to ask a question regarding the section of the meeting that was not actually filmed. And I think, I don't know for sure if we ended up realizing that there was a gap in the film. I know that that's separate from the minutes, but I want to know the answer to that so that it may be listed in the minutes. The minutes of this meeting talk about the mayor ending the meeting and then us reopening the meeting, but it doesn't tell anything about the actions of the mayor to direct staff to cut off the meeting in terms of the tape, and it doesn't give any rationalization for the missing elements that might be in the tape. I went to the meeting video from June 3rd, and it still ends when the mayor ended the meeting and does not have any of the meeting after that moment. And so to me and anyone looking at that video, it appears that the meeting did end before it actually did. So I don't know what the missing gap is or if we have other pieces of film that need to be added to that. And then I think that should be written in some way in the minutes so that that refers back to that information in the video.
This is Katie Riggs, City Recorder. I would like to say a couple things. First thing is, I am pretty sure that the video that is posted on the website through the Granicus, it does continue. If you continue to watch it, it stays running. It just doesn't have the actual video. It just has audio, and there is a short clip of the audio that is missing in that. So it does have the end of your conversation, Commissioner Smith, and it has Commissioner Rachel Lyles Smith and Commissioner McGriff's on there. It does not have the discussion of reopening the meeting and the beginning statement that you made. Everything else is still there. It just doesn't physically show, but the audio is still there in the video, and it is listed on our website. And then typically the meeting minutes are actually what city business took place, not necessarily what happened outside of the city business, such as the directing the AV technician to turn off the video and so forth. But I can refer to the city attorney as far as what should be physically, or excuse me, what should be listed in the meeting minutes.
I could not find this video on the city website under, agendas and videos. I did find the video on the YouTube channel, which does actually, the YouTube one does end at the gavel that the mayor hit. So that's the reason I'm asking. I just think that if anyone's reading the minutes, it doesn't really account for what happened. And then I just want to make sure separately that the video accounts for as much as we can.
You are correct.
Okay. Katie, why don't we postpone this agenda approval until you have a chance to talk to the city attorney?
Well, I'm sorry, I have a couple of things. First thing is I can re-upload the YouTube video, because you're correct, the YouTube video did cut off. So I apologize for that. I can get the Granicus video uploaded to YouTube so that part is corrected. I would need to know what edits need to be made to the meeting minutes so that I can go ahead and correct those. And then I would refer to the city attorney if he wants to add anything more. But other than that, I just need to know from Commissioner Smith what he would like specifically stated in the meeting minutes.
Now, just briefly, ORS 192-650 talks about minutes, and what it says, neither a full transcript nor a full recording of the meeting is required except as otherwise provided by law, but the written minutes or recordings must give a true reflection of the matters discussed at the meeting and the views of the participants. And so we don't need a full transcript. If the commission thinks that it is a true reflection of the meeting would include a notation about what occurred at the end of the meeting, that certainly is something that could be included in the minutes. But I think the city recorder's request to, for the edits would be helpful, and it may be useful to have some discussion now, and if we can come up with some language, we can do it now, or it can be postponed until next meeting.
I'd rather just do it now.
Okay.
Well, then I would ask the other commissioners to read that last part of the meeting to see if they believe that it accurately reflects what happened. I mean, I think it does reflect what happened in the actual session, but it really doesn't give an explanation for really what we know happened. So I guess that's the question, and whether or not it should refer to the fact that there's a missing segment in the video record, but I'm open to that as long as we can, I definitely want to see us updating those videos so that it has as much information that we have.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask Commissioner Smith a question?
Commissioner McGriff.
Commissioner Smith, in the minutes on page 5 of that particular day, the section starting with Ms. Richter assisted the commission, what you're suggesting is that needed to be expanded more to explain exactly what happened. Is that correct?
I don't know where you're referring to.
I'm on page 5 of the meeting draft for June 3rd. At the bottom of the page, it says 9A, city manager. Then you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences, and it starts with Ms. Richter. Bottom of page 5 of the June 3rd minutes.
Okay, I found it.
So what I'm asking you is that you're saying that needs to be expanded to explain why she assisted the commission with the process to reopen the meeting.
Yeah, and maybe that's just so much as saying that we had to restart the tape or we had to get staff to do that or something, because if you read through that, there is this event that the meeting stopped, but it doesn't really kind of account for the delay in getting the meeting restarted. So maybe just saying something that the video had been cut off or cut and had to be when the meeting restarted had to be set or something. I don't know.
I think what he's talking about is between where it says Mayor Holliday left the meeting at 9:05. Put an explanation in there of what happened as to why we had to have a vote to restart the meeting. I think that would help clarify what Commissioner Smith is talking about. Commissioner Lyle Smith, would you concur with that? Or do we need something more?
We certainly could add something in there. It sounds like it's more of a explanatory information in case somebody reads the minutes and they're not sure, and they can't tell what happened with the video, that this would help provide some explanation that, the video was stopped.
Like maybe in italics or something that, at this time the meeting was stopped,
So what if after the very first, so it says, there are no city manager communications, then the next line says, Mayor Holliday adjourned the meeting at 9:05. Right after that, I could say the video stopped.
Yes.
But the meeting continued.
Well, the meeting didn't really continue until later on. I mean, it's, the meeting was adjourned and a new meeting occurred.
Yeah, when we voted, that's when the meeting restarted.
So you could put the meeting ended there, and then after our vote on page 6, you could say the video or audio or whatever it is, was resumed.
So, so under city manager, there was no city manager communications. Mayor Howley adjourned the meeting at 9:05 PM, parentheses, the audio and video of the meeting were stopped upon adjournment.
Commissioner Smith then asked that
There was some
question.
discussion that went on. At some point, we started up again.
Under the communications part B, it says, Commissioner President Rachel Lau Smith reopened the commission meeting at 9:07 PM.
And did we start the video at that point?
We did not restart the video at all. The video remained on the entire time. The audio portion of the video, excuse me.
Yeah, it's
it
the
remained
reverse.
on, but the camera was shut off. Right. So it literally shows an adjournment screen, but it has the audio that continues, but it was cut off for the first portion of that, but then it picks back up.
So
I
what
don't know how to
about,
explain that.
Mayor Howley adjourned the meeting at 9:05. The video for the meeting was stopped. The audio for the entire meeting continued and is available.
Yeah, and then
Is that acceptable?
Then Commissioner Smith was asking about what happened the remainder of the agenda.
But those are the,
Right.
those are the
Those
minutes.
are minutes.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Somewhere in between those paragraphs is where that needs to go.
So I would do it right after where the meeting was adjourned at 9:05. We
Yes.
would add that the video was
Yes.
terminated, did not start up, but audio is available.
Right.
Does that address your concern, Commissioner Smith?
A portion of the audio is
A
available.
portion of the audio, yeah.
Yeah, it does. So there was not a video. The video in the ceiling was not running as well.
No, just the audio.
I'm sorry, a video, could you repeat that? A video of the,
The redundant system in the ceiling?
I thought when we talked about
yes,
this,
I
that there was a backup video that was referred to, and we thought we still had tape on that from the rest of the meeting, but do we not have that?
Unfortunately, we did have a portion of the video, but it literally just had the video, not the audio. And so I can't merge the two together to make one video with audio, unfortunately. So no, we did not. Long story short, no, we did not.
Okay.
Do you want that information in there?
I don't know. I want to avoid the opportunity that we deal with a situation like this again. And there should be a backup system in case, something like this happens where we do have a complete record. Even though we don't legally have to have all that. But I think just editing what we've already said is probably enough.
You want to make that motion, Commissioner Smith?
So moved.
Second.
Call a roll.
Yes, give me just 1 second. Moved. Okay. Commissioner Denise McGriff?
Aye.
Commissioner Rocky Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Rachel Lau Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Holliday?
Aye. Anything from manager?
No, Mayor, not tonight, thank you.
Commissioner McGriff?
Just my two committees are still continuing to meet. I'm on a diversity, equity, and inclusion subcommittee for the Willamette Falls Heritage and Landings group. They are interested in having their statements be run through a DEI lens. I'm also serving on a couple of, outside of those two committees, I'm also serving on a couple of subcommittees for the League of Oregon Cities. And when I have something to report on the DEI progress they're making, I will bring that back to you.
Commissioner Lau Smith?
I don't have anything tonight.
Commissioner Smith?
I'd just like to say we all attended most of us attended the kickoff or the groundbreaking for Ladderette Park.
Yes, it was fantastic.
And I'm excited because I get to watch the progress out my window every day, and it's exciting to see how fast they're moving on that. So it'll be nice to see that project complete.
Yep, shout out to the Girl Scouts.
Anything else to go to the order?
Like to move, we adjourn?
We're adjourned.
Thank you.